WA's rock lobsters are shipped all over the world. Here in Perth, it's a seafood treat that's simply unaffordable for many. The government wants to increase the amount of crayfish caught for locals. But as Brittany Hancock reports, the lobster industry says the controversial plan won't work.
WA crayfish are iconic to our state, but the claws are out over plans for an industry shake-up.
When it was announced, honestly, the industry was in shock.
Access and supply is minimal and the pricing is just far too high.
The state government wants to change the way rock lobsters are fished, with a plan to increase the catch.
We're trying to ensure that we get more West Australian jobs from the rock lobster industry.
Minister Kelly says with more than 95% of commercially caught WA rock lobster being exported to China, Western Australians and tourists are missing out.
We had lobsters from Canada, we had lobsters from Brazil, we had lobsters from the Caribbean, none from Western Australia. That's what people are saying to me.
WA's rock lobster is a multi-million-dollar industry and everyone wants a piece. Right now, one crayfish would set you back around $50. The government says that's too much, but fishers say the new policy isn't the answer.
The way he's proposing to do it, I think can only be detrimental to the industry.
Fideli Kamada is a third-generation fisherman. He's been involved in the Western rock lobster industry for more than a decade.
And I think it's a real kick in the guts to say that, well, because you've done the hard work, now we're going to take an extra share, or take a share from you.
The plan would see a progressive increase in the annual catch, from 6,300 tonnes per year to 8,000 tonnes. 17.3% would be for WA. There's almost 1,400 tonnes of lobsters for locals. Right now, commercial fishers are only allowed to catch and tag up to 100 extra lobsters each for the local market. That's around 15 tonnes. The government's proposal would be a massive increase.
The more visitors we have trying that food, the more jobs that are created, the more economic activity.
WA's restaurateurs want more for their local diners.
People, international visitors that see it on their plates in China and Japan and other places, ask for it here and they're met sadly with a no, or it's not available or it's too expensive, and they don't get to have it on our own foreshore.
There's outrage and the council put forward its very strong opposition as soon as we heard the idea.
The Peak Industry Group says it's been campaigning for an increase to local supply at a more affordable price for 16 months, but its request has been ignored.
The most cost-effective way to get lobster onto the local market is to allow the commercial fishermen that catch them currently and throw them overboard to keep them and bring them back to port and supply the local market that way.
To create more lobster for local market is not an issue. To work to have a lobster festival and create more jobs, again, it's not an issue, but we don't have to create new units to do those things.
But the minister says right now it's not working and lobsters aren't ending up on local dinner plates.
If you leave it just to the fishers, it won't work to the benefit of tourism and hospitality operators. We want to allocate a portion of the catch to a domestic quota.
Opponents are concerned the new policy might result in overfishing, impacting environment sustainability and setting the industry back a decade.
It may not be immediate, but if we increase the quota to a point where we're actually putting pressure on the stock, then you're going to find that it becomes more expensive to catch the lobster, and we may even get to a point where we were 10 years ago.
We have to keep an eye on the science. No one wants to overfish the way the fishers were doing 10 years ago.
Fishers and the community initially had until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to provide feedback on the policy, but that's now been extended by the state government until the end of January.
The government and the industry need to work together to find a solution that's fair for everybody.
And if you'd like to make a submission, you'll find a link on our Facebook page. Well, while most students are enjoying the last few